All right, it's Mitch Dar here from ZinMarketing, and welcome to the Email Experts Advice Corner. And you are in for a treat today. I am happy to be talking with Dharma Rose. I have known Dharma and her work for probably over 7 years now, and all I can tell you is that she is a fantastic copywriter. So if you need something done with the written word, Dharma has the experience to do it. So today's Expert Advice Corner, we're going to be looking for a couple of pieces of advice on email marketing. And so maybe to start, Dharma, just tell us a bit about your marketing background and kind of get us oriented there.
Sure. Thanks for having me. It's great to be chatting with you. Well, I started in online marketing probably about 7 years ago, and I kind of stumbled into it. Before I got started, I'd had a lot of different careers, everything from working as a sous chef in a hotel to working in sales to being a talent agent, just kind of all different things. And every job that I had, I ended up doing a lot of writing somehow. I just seemed to enjoy it. So finally, I decided to go ahead and pursue writing full time. And I ended up landing a job as a copywriter for a company that used to teach people how to start and grow their own online businesses. And I ended up having a real knack for direct response copy. And so soon I was writing all of their copy, most of it anyway, emails and sales letters and video scripts and so on. So basically all different kinds of things that were promoting their products and their training programs. And on the side, I also started doing some freelance stuff, which was really taking off and was actually paying better than what I was making at my job, which was cool.
Very cool.
Yeah. And I think eventually I felt a little dissatisfied. I was getting paid very well to do what I did. I ended up becoming very good at it. And what I realized was that for me, it wasn't necessarily about, I love, making a good living is excellent, all the things that allows you to do. But as far as like my time, I didn't really have a lot of extra time to pursue some of my other passions. And so I decided to go full time into freelancing so that I could create more time and money freedom to pursue my passions. And ever since then, I was freelancing for several years. I had my own freelance copywriting business. I've had several different businesses that I've launched since then. I've worked with a lot of pretty awesome clients and companies in a lot of different markets, and am currently in the process of launching a new online business called abundantentrepreneur.com, which teaches people how to blend their passions with ways to make money online. So it's really exciting. So it's been kind of a meandering journey to get to where I am. So a bit of an adventure, but it's been all amazing.
Oh, excellent, excellent. Well, our topic today is email marketing, so we're going to take some of your advice, and we'll just let you take the floor and give us a couple of pointers on what you think is important to make email marketing really work.
Sure. Email is probably um, one of my favorite things to write. I love writing emails. They're very simple and short and snappy if you know what you're doing. And I think the less thought you try and put into it, the better. And so that might sound kind of strange and counterintuitive, but my number one rule, and this might sound kind of basic, but it's really important. My number one rule for writing email is that I never start writing email, whether it's to a list of 500 people or a list of over 1 million people, both of which I've written to. I'm never writing to an audience. So you always want to think about writing the email to one single person. And again, it sounds pretty basic, but I think it's something that a lot of folks overlook. And what I usually do is I think about one person in my life who has this, this problem that I'm trying to remedy with, whether it's information I'm sharing in an email, free content, or whether it's an offer, whatever the remedy is, whatever the solution is that I'm offering. I try and think of one person that I know in my life that has an issue like this, and I think about speaking directly to that person. And so I write the email as though I'm writing it to that one person. And what that does when you start thinking about email in terms of that, and actually it's a rule that really applies to all really good high converting direct response copy, is just you're writing to one single person. What that does is it really gives your copy a very personal tone, People want to buy from people. They generally don't want to buy from nameless, faceless businesses. So it really gives your copy a personal tone. It helps you connect on another level with the person who's reading it. And it increases the number of clicks and the number of conversions, whatever that might be for you, whether it's an opt-in or a sale or whatever. So, so yeah, speaking to one person, and if you can get a visual of one person that you know, a friend or a friend of a friend or a family member or whatever, and just keep that person in the front and center of your mind as you're writing the email. It's extremely helpful.
Yeah. And so you go as far as to actually picture somebody, identify and picture somebody that you, when you're building the email, you're thinking of them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I've done this with, you might at first glance think, well, if it's some kind of maybe like really obscure or niche strategy that you're maybe giving them as far as free content in an email, you might think, well, I don't really know anyone in my life that this would apply to. Maybe you're kind of the only person you know that does online marketing or whatever. Um, and you're writing an online marketing style email. It's like I've used this strategy for clients I've written for in real estate, clients I've written for in natural remedies, nutraceuticals, online marketing advice. Like usually there's someone that you can think of that wants to save time, wants to save money, wants to make more money, wants to eliminate some frustration they have in their lives. If and depending on the market, it really doesn't matter if as long as you can think of someone that has one of those four pain points. You can often use a visualization of their face in your mind to help you write more personal copy.
Yeah, no, that would be very effective. I've definitely I definitely agree with the advice. Write to one person. That makes the copywriting job much easier. And something else you said, don't overthink it. Keep it simple and short and snappy. That's also very effective for email. So those are really some great thoughts. Anything else you want to throw out at us? Because I'd like to keep these short, but I mean those ones were great to start.
Yeah, I have actually two more for you. I was
Oh,
going to
awesome.
give one more, but another one just popped into my mind. The other thing that to keep in mind now, this strategy might more depend on the kind of business. Like if you're actually, I can't really think of a business where this wouldn't apply. I happen to see emails that from different kinds of markets that do different things, but I generally think this applies across the board. The goal of an email is to get a click usually. You want someone to click through to your blog to read more information, to get traffic to your blog for SEO purposes or whatever. Or you want them to click on a link to go to your website or blog to purchase something or to opt in for something. So generally with the email, you don't need to sell too difficult, or let me rephrase that. You don't need to sell hard in an email. You don't need to put the entire offer out there in the email. It usually makes for quite a long, complicated email, even sometimes for the simplest offers. The goal of the email is to get people curious enough to click. And hands down, I've done a lot of testing with copy and with email in particular. And hands down, if you have a very short email that gives just a few pieces of information to drive some curiosity and to compel the reader to click to find out more, versus testing that against an email that's got all of the information of an offer or something similar in the actual email, the shorter email is going to get more clicks every single time. So the goal of the email is to entice curiosity and to get people to click. It's not to use as a mini sales letter for an offer, for example.
Yep, I'd have to agree with that wholeheartedly.
And again, that's going to help you in a lot of different ways. It's going to encourage people to keep opening and clicking your email. Couple that with, again, writing to one single person. You're going to develop a really good relationship with your list. They're going to continue to open your emails. And if you're doing a lot of hard selling and hard promoting in your emails, chances are you're probably going to see less opens overall. So I would steer clear of that if you can.
Hmm.
And finally, I would like to share with you this, maybe something you're already familiar with, but something that I call the second subject line that a lot of people aren't aware of. So when you're writing an email, a lot of people focus on, writing a really compelling, enticing, delicious, juicy subject line to get people to open the email. And then they focus on writing the email copy to get people to click. And the second subject line is essentially what I call the first line of the body of your email. Because if you're using Gmail or Outlook or something similar, most email carriers these days, they show in the recipient's inbox, they'll show the subject line of the email, but then they also usually show the first line of, or, the first bunch of characters of the email body as well, of the copy that's in the body. So if you write the first line of copy in the actual body of the email as a second subject line, if you think of it almost like the email is the headline and the first line of copy is like a sub headline, you can often get a few more features and benefits, or a bit more juicy information into the carrier's inbox without them having to open it, and you can get them more curious, and you can increase your opens if you do that instead of first line in a lot of people's emails is like, hi so and so, I thought I would send you this email because, so that's what they would see next to the subject line in their email carrier. They wouldn't see something more compelling like, had to get this out to you right away, super time sensitive, as the first line of your body copy, and then let's say you went into the rest of the email. So it's what I call the second subject line, and really looking to optimize that first line that's in the email body can really help you get your open rate sky high if you know what you're doing.
Yeah, that is excellent advice. So all three of those points, I think I agree with 110%. The write to one person, don't sell hard in the email, and the second subject line, those are all solid, proven, effectiveness increasing points. That's an excellent bundle. And I like the perspective coming at it from a writer, because really, from my opinion as well, most of the heavy lifting is done by the copy in an email. And we always try and emphasize copy is important. So those are just really excellent, solid pieces of advice. So there you have it, three solid pieces of advice from a field-tested copywriter. And Dharma, I really appreciate your time today, and appreciate the thought you put into this. These are excellent. So thanks very much.
Thanks for having me.